Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Disco Elysium. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that he chose to join me today as we talk to Mr. Dross, apparently. That's what Kim called him, and he's the deserter. How have you concealed yourself all these years? It was hard in the tens, he shakes his head. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds. He closes his eyes. Floodlights on the water at night. There were posters, campaigns. We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Coal City would turn to dust. He looks south. But Jamrock, Faborg, even Coron, and Bougie Street, of course. Those fucking Kips had Mazov coursing through their veins. And others, too. Some cordons of Revachol were still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. He shakes his head. Soon they all went silent. The frequency's dead. How did you get between here and the mainland? At night I used the dinghy. He nods towards the deflated tire in the reeds. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city I stayed underground. Patrols. You lot. The commons too, they started snitching. In the city you move underground? From bunker to bunker, he nods. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. I think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. He falls silent, his gaze fixed on the shacks huddled together across the water. Why don't you just walk there? I don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits, and dogs. Men without ideals are only animals. He does not want to see life moving on, says our empathy. People forgetting, drinking, and laughing. The weapons cache under Saint-Guillaume 22B, in the basement. Have you been there? He looks at you and then pulls the raincoat tighter around his neck. So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Bellman Graves, right? Yeah, they were damaged beyond use. I know. So you've been there. Sleeping, he coughs. Some nights, ammo scrounging on others. Those mangraves were shit even before they corroded. Some had bullets in the chamber, however. You feel the dots connecting. Little dots on the map is walked across. There's a small bunker under the Feld building. Have you stayed there? The propaganda bunker. I used to, but not anymore. Propaganda bunker? They stored leaflets there, broadcasting equipment too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves. 2 young boys. Killed themselves? A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. He stares at the ruins of the Feld building. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins on the ground. One more question. Do you smoke Tiomurtiri cigarettes? I do, he coughs. Ever smoke them on the mainland? I'm gonna point to the land's east end. They're good, he nods. Plenty of tar. I like that boy on the pack too. Reminds me of the last century. I don't know if he has or not. I would assume he has to get them somewhere. Tell me another thing. The old man looks across the water at the city, the ruins, the motorways rising above it. So you're a communist soldier from the communist army? No, I'm not a soldier. I'm an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army. But you said you were trained and assigned to the defense corps. Trained, he nods. In historical materialism, then assigned as a political commissar by the party. These things used to mean something. What? That means you're a trained communist, right? He nods slowly and then another tremor. I'm not really into politics myself. I kind of wish I could say this without the game taking it seriously. The game does take it seriously and thinks I'm being unearnest in saying this. I want to see what he says. I just wanted to see what he says, but I'm not going to say that. But I can say this one. What does a political commissar do? The old man does not answer. He tilts his silver head and looks at the reeds. You see a small tremor pass through his legs. The lieutenant speaks softly. His job was to assure the army answers to civilian control and follow the ideology of the commune. Scientific communism. The tracksuit-clad old man is suddenly reanimated. A commissaire politique is a knight philosopher of the revolution, a future human. Awakened from a future human. That's a really interesting. This might have to do with the ideology that a human cannot be truly human in capitalism. Since we're talking about the communists. I don't know if that is, though. Awakened from shutdown by the promise of ideology, says our reaction speed, he was like a cleric, a shepherd. So, you were like a priest? No, he shakes his head. The opposite of that. A future human, not a human of the past. So, just like the real 1917 revolution, very anti-religion, but, yeah. I have another question, serious question for you. There is nothing serious in this world. He looks at the gun in his hand, in your hand, rather. It's a farce. What have you been using this gun for? I've used it for killing people. Killing people. It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family with your property. I haven't done that. This obsession with euphemisms is it's not common in the beginning of the century communism. This is more of a late. Although, well, I say that this is sort of like the mocking of using euphemisms has more to do with authoritarianism and nationalism than it has to do with anything else. It's complicated, but in different countries it works differently, so I'm going to reserve my judgment on that, but I don't think it fits the metaphor. Obviously, it can fit the game, because the game can be whatever it wants, but yeah. I've used it to kill people. Interesting. The lieutenant nods. During or after the war? There is no after the war. He shakes his head and smiles, his teeth rotten black. Class war is never over. So he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay. Says our logic. Our reaction speed says, this is it. You can feel it. Like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt in a while, but what? This is what you live for. This is the shit, says reaction speed. The great serotonin jackpot, says our electrochemistry. The solution, says our logic. Go in straight, no euphemism, says our rhetoric. He doesn't like those. Yeah, clearly not. Hand-eye coordination says, no, be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal, says our suggestion. Did you use that gun to shoot and kill a colonel of the security contractor Krenel? The who now? He leans in and cups his ear. He heard you, says our drama. He just wants to hear you say it again. This is dramatic flair on his part. Right choice. We're in. Do it, sire. Wow. He's actually the killer. For a while there, I thought he wasn't going to be the killer. The fascist death squad who took a bullet in the mouth on the night of the... Well, he's not a death squad. Is the... That doesn't work. Is the member of the fascist death squad who took a bullet in the mouth on the night of March the 4th. Oh, yes. That one. He looks up the sky. He looks up the sky and clacks his tongue. Ugly piece of work, that boy. Did you... Kim says, did you kill him? He takes a sudden step toward him. I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol. He spits a big one at the lieutenant's feet. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime. Exhaust him with proof, says our logic. Pile it all on him. Get a confession. Our hand-eye coordination says the gun, the murder weapon, is the perfect opener. Our perception smell says the scent of blood in the air. What else? There was something you can't remember. Was there something I can't remember? That was a trivial success, though. What am I forgetting? Wow. I hit myself on the side of the head. Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. Oh, right, of course. The dried Maybells on Clash's roof. My hair hurts now. Oh, yes. There were Maybells in the grass when you got here. Yeah, I saw that, actually. They're revolutionary symbols from the war. Nowhere else, nowhere in all of Martinez have you seen this spring. Have you seen them this spring? There were Maybells behind the victim's window. Damn Maybells. He looks at the blossoming field behind you. The whole island is turning white with them. He seems tender suddenly. Nostalgic even. A strange mood swing. So many years, too. No, so many this year, too. The spring is coming. Nah, it's already here. Wash the filth away. I haven't seen these flowers anywhere else in Martinez. Only here. They blossom on the islets before. We fertilized them with our blood. He looks to the water. Resurrection was snow white in May, before they ruined it. The coast too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeois children to play with. A young woman called Clagy. Ring any bells? These dried flowers were behind her window. Clagy. He knows her name, but hadn't heard her name. You know her, right? She had intimate relations. I mean, you know what I mean. I don't want to use the euphemisms, but apparently we're going with them. With the victim, the mercenary. With the victim. I did notice that, actually. I did notice that I used the victim. With the victim. He turns his sight from the whitening field of flowers and falls silent, and then the muscles in his jaw twitch, a spasm. There is a small tremble, looks like a smile, a crooked smile, yet isn't quite voluntary. He's about to burst. Almost, but you need one more, just one, or maybe two, says our suggestion. We've done ballistics. I'm gonna point to the tower. The shot came from this island. I saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fascies. This word happened before, and I didn't know what it meant. But that's the abbreviation of fascists. I don't think that's how you write that in English, though. And I mispronounced it. It's not fascist. It's fasci. You need immediately the sound. It's fasci. Fasci. Which is different from fascist. Because you have the sound is different. But yeah, from that fascists, basically, is what it means. A jitter passes him. Did you like the view? You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete specifically meant for a top faller to use. And you had a long-range rifle in your possession. The lieutenant softens his voice. You've been here a long time, Mr. Dross. Too long. You clearly need medical aid. I'm ready to die. The man interrupts him and then coughs. I've done my part. He's practically admitting to it. Dead fascis, for fascist. Done his part. The view was perfect. With a pair of binoculars, I could have seen in the room. Because it's a sniper's nest, you stupid fuck. Radio Gosh is right. You have worms in your brain. Another sudden twitch, and then one more in his right eye. Almost, says our suggestion. He almost burst out there. Keep piling arguments, anything. I don't need your cooperation. I've got this. Actually, I do, but, well, whatever. I have the Triangong 446. Huh. Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there? It's a real gun, he points at the lieutenant's sidearm. Not like your musketeer pistol. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns. Of course you got those boys killed. Damn, he saw you. He watched it happen. So he saw you. Okay, so what? Don't let it divert you. Yeah, don't worry about it. We saved a lot of them. Elaine, and that musician, we handled it. Like, fuck you did. You didn't handle anything. I watched it happen. You let those beats rip right into them. Got the fat kid killed, the old man too. None of those people mean anything to you. The vultures feed on this city and you prepare the meal for them. You're getting diverted. Push the gun. Only the gun matters. So you watched the fight, the lieutenant points inland. Did you like what you saw? The mayhem? It was all your doing. Your plan. You got them killed. You don't know anything. A twitch runs across the left side of his face as he stares the lieutenant down. Stop changing the subject. We have the murder weapon. You know what? The lieutenant looks at the weapon demonstratively. You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it? Who am I asking here? You think we have the murder weapon? I'm calling it. We have the murder weapon. Good. The lieutenant takes out his notebook and draws a single line. This feels good, doesn't it? Tying things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer. Murder. The old man does not say more. He just glances into the reeds and then twitches once more. He suddenly jerks to life. You know who he was? A coalition-trained murderer, armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer, dripping with blood. Look at these options. He was a rapist. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. Is the first one. He was a killer, but he was still under the protection of the law. And he was a soldier too. He was a man. He was a rapist. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. Beating us to the ground, moaning with joy. He breathes in with strange animation. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. Haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. He looks you dead in the eye, pupils shaking. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds. He breathes through flared nostrils. This is it, says our rhetoric. Shoot, that's not. Shot is, that's, shoot him, say what the heck? He shot him. Say he shot him, not killed him. Thanks for the help, rhetoric. So you shot him. Oh, the inhumanity. He closes his black eyes. One paramilitary less in Revachol. You can almost see him squeeze a tear out of his eye. His fists. Oh, no, he's actually not, he's not saying that. I can almost see a tear. Squeeze a tear out of his eye. His fists begin to tremble from the anger. The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you. Hush. Our esprit de corps translates. He does not need to be pushed anymore. The ball is rolling. While the lieutenant listens, holding his breath, I'm gonna nod. I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them. In face. And I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth. He begins to smile. I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death and that stupid look on his face. The smile quivers. And his dick still in her. Then what? Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own. And so they did. The lieutenant just looks at him for 1, maybe 2 seconds, and then breaks the silence. Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder? Yes. A single word is all he gives. The lieutenant takes his notebook out slowly, very slowly, and you were looking at them, the victim and a young woman having sex, through the scope of your rifle that night before you shot him. The old man nods. Why? Because that's what they were doing. He shrugs and then smacks his lips. The motive is our logic. That's what we want. This is where the motive is going to come from. You can coax it out of him. The lieutenant's preparing the ground. I don't understand. He turns to you. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part. Why were you looking at them that night? I'm always looking. He cocks his head to the side and then turns his eyes to the city. Another tremor passes his left side, lower in intensity. Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? He explains. I'm just trying to understand. A rifle's scope has the best magnification? And if you don't like it... That sound wasn't real. That's just our hand-eye coordination. You pull the trigger, although that wasn't the sound of a pulling over the trigger. That's the sound... What's that sound? That's not the cocking of the weapon, though, because if... I think that's the sound of the clip pulling back. That sound in particular is the sound of a bullet entering the chamber in the clip. It's not really the sound of the bullet, it's the clip pulling back, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know guns enough. I've never had one in my hands. But anyway, you pull the trigger? Yes. He looks you in the eye. Think of it as a form of critique. You got him going, says our logic. Connect every little piece now. Wrap this up like a gift. Start with when he first saw him. It will give him a chance to ramble. Can I actually leave? That's it for now, old man. Stay put. I ain't going anywhere. I can actually leave. The game is very loud over here as well, which is pretty good. I have a thing over here. Oh, I have the rifle. There it is. The bolt-action 446 caliber Triangong is the poor man's sniper rifle. While not the most reliable of firearms, and also doesn't have a scope over there, it is relatively precise due to a very manageable recoil, thus allowing the shooter to take multiple consecutive shots fast. This particular piece is missing a scope, though. What? What? If it's missing a scope, how did he shoot? Where's the scope? Did he take it out? We didn't find it. Maybe it was there. Maybe it was stashed there. And I just didn't have enough perception. Why did he do it? Why? Well, I guess the why is really pretty straightforward. It's not like he hasn't made a case for himself all this... Oh my god, almost another level up. It's not like he hasn't made a case for himself all this time. I just want to put my composure pants on so that that we're a little bit more prepared. Do I have any minuses? I do not, because composure is probably gonna be the thing I want to do that check with. I mean, because I can try it over and over again. I mean, I imagine I could try it over and over again. I think it's a white check. So if I can boost my options or my chances with this stuff. Yeah, I only have one composure thing. My god. That's bad. Can I actually boost it up? I can. I have an... Ooh, we spent 3 points over there. Is this thing that I spent a lot of time or a lot of points the other episode? I don't know. Anyway, we're out of time for today, so we're going to do it next episode. For right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Disco Elysium. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.